My name's Shiv. I'm Director of M&A at TC Group. So we're here to talk a bit more about who we are as a business, but also how we support firms who join the group, both coming in and then their next few years with us. So TC Group is a top 20 accountancy and advisory group. So we champion predominantly SMEs, owner-managed businesses across the UK.
We're currently made up of over 50 offices with more than 1,500 colleagues and a turnover of over 120 million, which we're incredibly proud of.
Our heritage is very much a traditional accountancy and advisory practice. We took the decision in 2016 to change our business model to really facilitate growth at a local level. So that meant taking away a lot of the practice management burden that can saddle partners operating independent practices who quite frankly have got into their profession because they're passionate about what they do with their clients and don't necessarily want to have to deal with the inevitable consequences of running a business. So we've taken that burden away and we've invested in a suite of infrastructure that covers all aspects of practice management that we've grown over an 8-year plus period. And at a local level, what that means is our partners can focus on service delivery with their clients, managing those client relationships, growing those portfolios, and really shaping their colleagues to develop the future leaders of that local business. So ours has very much been born out of responding to the needs of our partners when we were a traditional practice. And our growth today has been facilitated by the fact we're in a very buoyant M&A market. A range of independent practices now are exploring their options because everyone sees there can be benefits of being part of a larger group. The infrastructure support you can get that's difficult to replicate at a local level, access to additional services that you currently can't provide your clients. All those things remain very much true with us, but that's as far as our similarities go with these other consolidators. For us, you get the opportunity to de-risk, but that shouldn't compromise your ability to retain local autonomy or earnings capacity. Our model, we feel, is a really strong fit for those that want to realise some value today, but still want to play a meaningful role in their business going forwards. So one of the key principles of our model is local autonomy. We think the independent model has a lot of benefits to it. The ability for partners to be able to manage their portfolios and their colleagues as they see fit based on the requirements of their clients and the local communities that they service. We think it's a bit of a nonsense having a one-size-fits-all approach regarding how you choose to service clients and the services you choose to provide them and how they get delivered. So it's really important for us that our partners' autonomy is respected. Ultimately, they've been doing this job for a number of years. Why should they be told how to do things differently now? But counter to that is the benefit of being part of a national group, the access to additional services that your clients can now receive, which you're unable to provide yourselves currently, the access to infrastructure, which really helps, particularly now, to navigate massive headwinds facing the sector, be that tech adoption and innovation, the challenges with talent acquisition and retention. The fact you can now say you're part of a top 20 accountancy firm should provide for lucrative client acquisition and talent acquisition opportunities. One of the key components when firms look to de-risk and potentially join a larger group is the fact that they ultimately sell all of their profits to this acquirer. And for those individuals that are going to be remaining enrolled for a meaningful period of time are now moved on to these fixed salary models. Now, the narrative that's being effectively provided in response to that is the lack of appetite for people to take ownership risk. And I think it's fair to say there are more people than their predecessors who would much prefer a salaried role and don't necessarily like the idea of taking ownership risk. But to suggest everyone is like that, I think does a disservice to the ambitious entrepreneurial advisors that operate in our sector. And bearing in mind, their clients being SMEs and owner-managed businesses are entrepreneurial and ambitious themselves. Why can't their advisors also be of a similar ilk? So in our model, in our environment, whilst we can facilitate an opportunity to de-risk, we can still allow for that ongoing autonomy and uncapped earnings capacity. So our partners in our group retain equity in their business. They retain 100% of the rights to the profits in the business. And we can demonstrate partners in our environment are earning nearly twice their counterparts are earning in the other consolidators. Our model is very much built around the long-term view in mind. So not just for it to be suitable for the individuals remaining in the business today, but making sure it's an attractive pathway for future successors. And fundamentally for me, that comes down to those individuals who are entrepreneurial, like to have the ability to exert local influence, and if they're empowered to grow their business, then their earnings should grow in kind with that. So by being able to demonstrate that partners can operate in our environment with uncapped earnings capacity, local autonomy, but with a national firm level of support, that should hopefully be attractive for future successors who then looking to take over the business from those partners. Amongst the key principles of our model is security of tenure for our partners in our group. Our partners have full security in their position at their practice. There's no ability for us to be able to remove those partners from their role, which provides far more security in their position than an employed capacity would afford them.
Partnering with TC Group has been hugely successful for us. Hi, I'm Steve Watts. I lead the TC SEM practice within TC Group. So the journey to TC Group started probably 2 to 3 years before we moved into TC Group. So we moved into TC Group July 23. We were looking at succession planning options within our practice 2-3 years prior to that. There's a lot of options out there. We spoke to a lot of people. Ultimately, we decided on TC Group because of the autonomy. That was probably the biggest factor for myself and the management team, which I led the transaction. We didn't want to be part of the group where decisions weren't made by local partners. So autonomy was key. And I think the other thing that struck myself and the rest of the team was I think I found them pretty authentic and genuine, and through that process and built up really good relationships. And it's pleasing to say post merger, those relationships have gone from strength to strength. Everything they told us would be the case has been the case. So it's been a very positive experience in that regard as well. We were a big business unit. We were turnover wise, we're 13 million turnover at the time, probably 130 employees across 4 offices. So we're a pretty big practice to come into TC Group. That said, the support we had coming into TC Group and the support we've had since is been immensely valuable. The central team were very, very supportive, preparing us for the transaction, for the merger, whether it was the finance team, the HR team, the ops team. There's a really strong central team there, which made the experience to transition as seamless as it could be. As TC Group has grown, so too has the level of expertise and specialism that has been introduced to the group and is available now to clients of all offices, all partners. We'd built our business initially by adding additional service lines, property, CF, HR, the dedicated R&D team, VAT, advisory. So we were able to introduce those service lines into the group, either as new service lines or further enhance the existing offering within the group. And that's happened since as well. So for example, we've got a number of, I think it's 15 service lines in total, which does include legal. We've got financial services. So, we can certainly offer all the services we know businesses require and individuals require. And those services can be delivered in-house now. There are plans also to further enhance some of our existing service lines. We recognise that it is a phrase which is often bandied around in our profession, but that one-stop shop, because we recognise the important role that accountants have with their clients. Accountants are still the trusted advisor. The accountants are still the person that the client would go to, the business owner would go to, over the bank, over the solicitor. And we've recognised that, which is why we've enhanced our offering to make sure that we can continue to meet the needs of business owners and individuals.
So if you'd like to hear more about TC Group, then please do reach out. We're really keen to just have exploratory conversations, if anything, with firms looking at their options. We've built our business with our partners and colleagues in mind, so by all means reach out to any of our partners that might be in your network as well.
Thank you, Shiv, and thank you all for listening.